Alright, I just wanted to do a quick video here on Stonewall Jackson's Way 2 from MMP Games. This is the Great Campaigns of the American Civil War. We're coming in on the next action sequence. We're still in turn 1 of the Scenario 1 Cedar Creek battle. And the first action sequence was activating Stonewall Jackson. Let me just modify my camera here real quick. And basically it was a leader activation and he moved some units up. And they've gotten their fatigue levels up 1. And we're about to do initiative. Now the Union Army really needs to get this initiative here because there's a large army, a Confederate army bearing down on Rapidan Station here, and Jackson wants to just plow right across that ford, and I think that's a ford. Yeah, it's a ford, and he just wants to take that unit out. Now there are cavalry retreats possible as they approach, so I'll have to look into that as it happens. But first we're going to have to do initiative. The white die will be the Confederate Army, and blue will be Union. And again, this is still turn 1. This is the next action sequence. The turn does not end until both players pass or you run out of units to do things with. It should be noted that on turn 1, per the rules, the Confederate player has to get to Culpeper. So it's a pretty far move. This unit cannot do anything on turn 1. There's no force marches allowed, no extended marches. And there's some special rules for Gregg and Lawton of the Confederate Army. Alright, so let's roll initiative. Let's see what happens. The Union player needs to win this badly. I think there may be, let me just double check and make sure there's no special. Alright, if there's a tie in all other games besides Battle Above the Clouds, the Confederate player wins the tie. The player with the highest roll wins. Here we go. Oh boy. Alright, so 5 to 3. And this is going to be interesting. Okay, so now do I want to push, do I want to activate, do a leader activation? The command radius of Jackson is 3 hexes, so he's only going to be able to reach this unit, this unit, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. He can reach this unit. He cannot get to these guys. So the fatigue will go up. But in his hex, get my tweezers real quick here. In his hex is probably the largest Confederate force here. I'm going to actually move this camera up so I can get that in there. Let me just change this. He's got, in here we have Hill with a 18 strength army, AP Hill. So that's a huge force. And this is probably going to be a leader activation. And let me just make sure it's legal to do that. Same action phase. Following actions may not be performed in the activate leader action. Assault, burn railroad station, amphibious, and only one district leader can be chosen. All leaders only if one or more. Okay. Action phase. Alright, so here we go. Man, how do I want to do this? Let's take... He can really put some pressure on the Union if he can get an activation off. Alright, let's activate Stonewall Jackson, and I will pick, you have to put markers down for who you want to pick, so we'll pick here. We'll activate him. We'll go here. Actually, Man, he's got such a big force, so I don't need all that attacking. Let's not activate him. Let's do him. This is a big force at 8, but I don't want them to get over fatigued. I want him to be able to follow up in case something happens. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3 are within his command radius. All right. And the poor Yule's back here, like, not getting anything accomplished. So that's the risk that you take when you just do this leader activation. You know, some of your units end up just sitting there. Okay, so, all right. Oh boy, here's what we're gonna do. Well, let's calculate the movement allowance. You have to do that first. This will be infantry. You roll a die and increase it by 2. Alright, here we go. Let's see what his movement allowance is. This is huge because movement points in this game also determine how much attacking you can do. So let's give it a shot here. Oh, God. A 1 plus a 2, that's 3. So on our board here, the leader movement allowance is 3. So 3 is our max for each unit activated. And then we use this as a separate one as they move. So I may not have enough movement to attack. So I've really kind of blundered this with a shitty die roll. But let's give it a shot. So he's moving on. Let's see if we got this here. I need to look up that terrain and make sure there's no weirdness about that. That is rough, I think. Yeah, that's rough. But there's a road going through it. Well, there's a road and... Actually, it's not a road. It's a very thin... Yeah, that's a road and a railroad, I believe. Looking at the sheet. It's not a trail. Wow, rough is... Rough is brutal in this game. Yeah, I'm going to be attacking across... I don't know if this is smart or not, actually. I'm attacking across a ford. That's a +2 combat modifier when you defend. He's going to have to pull out either way. Yeah, plus I have to stop when I enter. I don't think I'm going to have enough movement points to pull this off. Luckily, there's a road there, so... Rough, it takes 5 movement points. I have 3, but I'm on a road, so it's 1. My question is for an attack. In order to really do a decent attack, I think this die roll may have really just screwed me. In order to do a decent attack, I would need... Let's see here. Column of route is 0. Hasty attack 1 for infantry, 2 for cavalry, normal. A normal attack would be 2 MPs. So I could go up 1. I could get a normal attack in. I don't know. What do people think? First of all, let's see the rules for a cavalry retreat, just in case here. If I'm the Union player, do I want to defend? I have 1. This is an 18. Do I even want to defend this, even though it's across... I'm thinking that I don't want to... I think he's going to get blasted regardless. That's just too much. And he's really supposed to be scouting, but the Union player hasn't won anything to let him take advantage of that. So let's just see here. I'm thinking maybe he's going to use that cavalry retreat rule. Let me just look it up and make sure it is legit. A cavalry unit may use cavalry retreat to avoid attack. A cavalry unit may perform a cavalry retreat more than once. Player owning the unit may declare retreat. Enemy movement. An enemy infantry unit performing a march moves into a normal ZOC. Okay, yep. You must make your declaration as soon as... Okay, so let's go ahead and move then. Alright, so we have 3 movement points. Let's do this, and we're going to go 1. And he will immediately declare a cavalry retreat. We can get this out of here. So I have 2 left. Let's see what goes across there. Yeah, so what happens? Okay. If he does not make declaration, he forfeits the ability. Alright. Cavalry retreat is voluntarily. You may perform the retreat regardless of your status. Well, first of all, he moves, so the fatigue goes up to 2. See, this game covers fatigue. The more you push your units, the more you're gonna, wear them out and not be able to do things with them. So now that whole army's been, they're pushing forward. So now they're at 2 fatigue. All right. The enemy unit's march is temporarily suspended. Roll a die. All right. So the cavalry says, "Holy shit! There is a large Confederate army coming right up the road. We need to do something." I roll a die against 6. This roll may be modified. The modified roll is halved. The result is the number by which the enemy unit's active move allowance marker is reduced on the movement track. Ouch. Okay. Modifiers. Let's see what we got here. Rolled a 6. Cavalry retreat modifiers below apply to all games. Plus terrain. If a cavalry unit occupies a location where it would receive a positive die roll in combat due to terrain. Okay. Yes. Not only is he in... He's in a rail station, but it's across a ferry. But he has to be in it, so let's see what we get here. I'm just learning the game with you guys. We're just following along here to see what happens. Alright, so there's nothing for being in there, it looks like. At least that I can tell. But it is across a ford. It's supposed to combat when defending. This is probably the part where I should have read more of the rulebook before I recorded, but let's just take a look here. I don't think there's anything. I'm probably going to need my bigger chart. Let's see. Defending in a mountain hex? Nope. Hill hex? Nope. Okay. It doesn't look like there's too much. Yeah, so +2, so that's an 8. The same modifier is used to increase their roll. Note that this change adds a cavalry retreat die roll modifier +1 to creeks. Very large force. If the cavalry unit and the hex have a combined combat value of 3 or more, nope. Large force, nope. Demoralized, nope. Fatigue, nope. Ammunition, small force. If the cavalry unit and the hex have a combined combat value of more than 1/2 and 1 or less, counting entrenchments. Exception. If the cavalry unit are Confederate, this modifier is altered to -1. Alright, so we're at 8 minus 2 because it's a small force. So 6. Alright, I'm not sure what that means. So we have a 6. I think I did that right. It is a small force. So hopefully that's not wrong. The modify roll is halved, so 3. The result is the number by which the enemy unit's active movement allowance marker is reduced on the movement track. So, just took out all my movement. So I'm at 0. Manpower loss. If the step 1 roll is 1, the cavalry unit's manpower value is reduced by 1. Okay, that did not happen. I did not roll 1. I rolled very well, I take it. The cavalry unit must retreat from 4 to 6 hexes. The retreating player must adhere to retreat restrictions using retreat charts 1 or 2. Cavalry unit does not suffer any manpower value loss in a cavalry retreat. 4 to 6 hexes. After executing retreat, its fatigue level is increased by 1. Okay. Alright, I'm getting a low power mode here, so we'll be wrapping this video up. I just kind of wanted to show people how this part was done. First, I got to find my fatigue counters, which I put back in my box like a dummy. Player must retreat. Player must use retreat chart 1 in the following circumstances. Retreat chart 2. Alright, so I think this is just a basic retreat. Prior to entering each hex, check retreat chart 1 or 2. A unit must retreat into a hex using a retreat description with the lowest priority number. Retreat follows road, pike, trail, railroad into a hex more distant from the active enemy. Okay, so we're doing, there's no manpower, this is priority number 1, so he's going to take a fatigue hit. 4 to 6 hexes. I think we're going to go there, and I've run out of movement points. So Jackson does not cross the Rapidan River. He has to stop there. Alright, the other unit we activated is way up here. This is Greg. He's commanding the infantry here. This is a 4-point infantry, strength infantry. And he's got 3 movement. Now, the rules for moving into a hex with a friendly unit, you have to consult a chart to see how many movement points it's going to cost you, and that is on page 12. If I can carefully place this. I'm moving into a hex with 3 combat value, so that's going to cost me an extra MP. So you can see that my movement roll was really, really bad. So I have 3 MP. It's going to cost me 2 to move into here. And I'm not sure if I can cross that little creek here. You may cross a creek in rain turns only at the Hexside Road Pike Trail. Units may cross a creek in rain turn only to here. No effect. Alright, so we can cross this creek. So it's going to be 2 to move into here. I'm really surprised towns don't do... I guess town would do something better. Maybe in combat. I don't know. So he's going to go into here. That's going to be 1, 2, and 3. I just want to get across that Great Creek and threaten Bayard's cavalry. And that is the action sequence. I don't want to stress this unit out. That's why I didn't move them up or activate them. And it turns out for the best. With the 3 movement points, I mean, it's really not worth tacking on another fatigue, but I really was hoping to get into here and form like a bridgehead across the Rapidan River and start moving up. Now, if I don't win initiative for the Confederacy next turn, the Union can come down and try to plug this, but they're really weak. here. It's almost like they weren't prepared, which I'm sure they probably weren't. The majority of their forces are way up north, up there, way up there. So the Confederate player has to be very quick in this game to get to Culpeper. And rolling a 3 for movement, not quick. Alright, I just wanted to get that so I could put the video up rather than typing all that up on my blog. Again, hudsonshideout.blogspot.com is where you can follow along on this. And I'll get this video spiffied up and put up there and double check the rules and make sure I did that right. If anyone notices any mistakes, just let me know on YouTube. Again, thanks for watching.